feel like this is always like 1, 2, 3.
Hi.
Hey.
What's up? How's your day been?
That's also always how we start interactions.
How's your life?
How's it going?
Because we're just talking to you
We're
guys.
just trying to,
So I want to know what's up. What's up?
Like, what's up?
Comment down below.
Comment
what's
down
up?
below and tell us how your day's been going. So today we really want to talk about, can we take a joke?
And just PC culture in general.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a pretty hot button subject.
It's very controversial. We're going to take a step back and
try to look at things from a more of an objective point of view.
Yeah.
We don't want to be biased, even though we know we're going to be. Like, it's impossible to be completely unbiased. Like, we're coming from a perspective of we're young, you know, we're 20.
We're feminists.
And we're feminists.
So,
and, but don't leave. We're feminists.
But
that's what we want to talk about.
Okay, so we're here to have, like, I think kind of just, like, we want to, like, the problem with, like, PC culture and everything right now. And we want to talk about the problem of it and, like, why people are so kind of, like, annoyed by it, especially by, like, feminists. And we want to talk about that. We want to have an open conversation where it's not super one-sided. We want to, like, open both sides and bring them in. And I think that's really important when it comes to PC culture.
Because right now, we're not just going to be talking about how we're really upset with people making, like, racist, homophobic jokes, which we want to talk about that.
I think that's just, like, as equally as important, but it's also important to know why does the other side feel like they can't, they're limited to what they say and what they can talk about.
There's a lot of issues with censorship right now, I think.
Yeah. And feeling that people are censored, and so because of that, they hate PC culture because they feel that they're being censored and they're being limited to what they can talk about.
Like, for instance, these days you hear a lot of, like, comedians talking out against PC culture. Like, for instance, I know that Bill Maher has talked about it. He's actually said that Trump's rise to power has been because of this PC culture.
For sure.
Because he's saying anything he wants to, and people receive that as, wow, he's going against this whole sort of political correctness thing we've been into, and I love that.
So this is going to be kind of a rant. It's not going to be super structured or super researched.
Yeah.
This is going to be coming from just, like, our point of views. So
okay, I just want to start with talking sort of about like, feminazis is what they call them these days. Yeah. I've been in many a YouTube comment where someone's called me a feminazi, and I don't receive it very well.
I don't think I would not receive that well if I was being associated
I don't think
with
it's fair to people who've, like, been in the Holocaust and actually deal with Nazis, but I understand what they mean. So basically, I want to talk about how, like, if you look at college campuses, some college campuses these days, there's people who will boycott certain speakers from coming, and if they do get to come, they will sit in the, like, audience and they'll just yell obscenities. They'll just yell at the speaker.
We were actually totally just watching it.
We were just watching it. I might leave it in the description if you want to check it out. Basically, these people just come on stage and all they're talking about is political correctness. And there's two comedians and they might be a little outrageous, but there's one woman who she's a feminist, but she's an older feminist, and so she is coming from a sort of a different generation, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because all she's saying to these people is that, you know, we're being close-minded right now. And so it actually is funny because while she's saying that, there are people in the audience yelling at her, being like, racist, like, you hate fat people.
They're, like, trying to boo her off the stage.
Boo, like, it's my free speech. And you know what? Like, people don't like that no matter what side you're on. Whether you're yelling about, you know, like, conservative issues, like if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat, if you're yelling about Jesus, if you're yelling about anything, like,
it's the problem of the double standard. What we're trying to talk about is, like, how can we, like, appropriately have these conversations? And I think kind of, like, the over-looming issue is that people, I hear this a lot, is we can't say anything without people being too sensitive. And I think that could apply to either side, and I think the problem is that when we're trying to have these conversations, we don't know how to appropriately construct their arguments.
It's more of like an like an ignorance, which I don't want to say that as a bad way. It's just they don't necessarily know how to express their feelings.
Yeah.
And so
without just discriminating and
just being
targeting minorities
rude.
And
kind of
rude
and also during that video she was also saying how like when you go to these colleges, it's kind of not just because of the students, it's because of their teachers. Because you know, she's an older woman, and so she's seen in like the 90s people acting this way, and then the people then became professors who are then teaching classes that are they're gender studies classes, but they're coming at it from like a closed-minded point of view.
Right.
And so
which are creating closed-minded students.
I take women and gender studies classes, and we look at all facets. Like,
and that's what's really important.
It might be a feminist class, but they start the class off with, hey, you don't have to be a feminist. You don't have to say you're a feminist by the end of this class. And we're not only going to focus on women's issues, we're going to focus on men's too. We're going to focus on intersectional issues with race and gender, sexuality, and all of the facets. And so it's not a closed-minded point of view.
And I think that's what's important when you're having these conversations, is that for one, to be ready for the other person's point of view, and to respect it.
Yeah.
And to understand that not everybody's going to agree with you. And like here's an example of a conversation where someone could be considered too sensitive based on someone being disrespectful towards that other person's point of view. So let's say it's somebody who is a part of this PC culture, kind of, and in a double standard sense, talking to someone who's religious, and let's say you say, you don't know what you're talking about, like, you're super religious, and like, you're just a Christian, and you're just hateful. And this is like, when we say too sensitive, of course somebody isn't going to like react very well to that, because that is plain out disrespectful.
Yeah, if you say stuff like that before someone has even had the chance to tell you anything about them, if they just say, hey, I'm a Christian, and then you come to them with that, and you know, this has to do with either side.
Yeah.
If I tell you, hey, I'm a feminist, I don't want you to immediately get on my ass about it before you've even heard what I have to say. And I believe that in all types of opinions.
And for instance, I'm a women and gender studies major, and it's actually very interesting to see people's responses to the fact that I'm a women and gender studies major. I think about 5% of the people that I've told that I'm a women and gender studies major have like appropriately and respectfully responded to that.
5%?
Probably. The other 95% have you know, made comments about like, good luck making any money, good luck finding a job, that sort of like response, or just kind of laughing and being like, what does that even mean? And I can't help but get offended by that, because you aren't respecting the fact that I am investing a lot of time and money and effort into what I'm passionate about. And so I'm not going to respond very well to that. And I don't think it's a matter of me being too sensitive. I think it's a matter of you not being considerate of someone else's point of view.
And that's really all that we're trying to say.
Yeah.
Is that just when you have arguments, okay, let's just call them arguments.
Okay.
When you have these arguments, just try to just take a step back and listen to what they're saying. Try to be open-minded, maybe understand their point of view, where they're coming from, you know, like.
I think it's also a matter of like not like assuming. No.
Don't assume we're the ones who are sitting in that crowd yelling, you're just
racist,
hate speech,
you're
hate
sexist.
speech. I need a safe space right now. Like, obviously hate speech is real. Safe spaces are important, but we're not gonna just do that before we even hear what you have to say. Yeah. Don't make assumptions.
Same like with being religious, same with being conservative or whatever.
Yeah, and we also sort of want to talk about jokes, but I actually think we might make a different video for that.
Yeah, actually.
Just because I don't want to make this video too long.
Yeah,
and
for
so
sure.
Just look out for that video too if you're interested.
Yeah, I think that's going to be our next video, is just, can we take a joke?
Yeah.
And that is, that kind of like connects to what we're talking about now, and like, people being too sensitive in argument.
Yeah. We just don't want to, you know, bore you, and we just want to cut it short and just put it out there that just, you know, be kind and respectful.
For sure.
Wait and listen and try to just form an educated argument, and if you can't, just maybe take a step back and
for sure.
think about
if you don't have especially when it comes to maybe like minorities that tend to get a lot of discrimination, for instance, the LGBT community, the people of race, people of color, my bad, people of color, and maybe women, but they're not necessarily a minority, but still women get a lot of discrimination, and just being like a little considerate of the fact that maybe like if you're not a part of those minorities, that when having these conversations,
just give them a chance.
Just give them a chance, and also just kind of like recognize that when you're like making these arguments and thinking about what you're gonna say is, do you really know what it's like to go through what they're going through?
Yeah.
Do you really know, without making those assumptions, not without like being like thinking about those stereotypes? Do you really know? Are you a part of that community? Do you know anyone a part of that community? Is anyone of your family a part of that community? And if not, when you're having these conversations and you don't know, and you're saying things, when you just speak whatever comes out, say whatever comes out of your mouth without thinking, without being considerate of these communities.
We just want to promote people being respectful, kind, and considerate, and that's all that we really are trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you guys if you watched this whole video stuck it through.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in these things, feel free to comment down below. Try not to be too disrespectful while you do it. But I mean, we're open to conversation. If you have opposing opinions, let us know, as long as you're not gonna comment down there that we're just feminazis that don't know what we're talking about. I'm free to have a discussion.
Exactly.
So.
Alright, well thank you so much. Please subscribe.
Wait, hold on. June. Maybe we should have
our co-star.
We should have our co-star June.
I wish I could find Nala. He's probably under the couch.
June just wants you to be nice. Be nice to people. Okay, have a good rest of your day.
Alright, thank you.
Have a good Saturday or whatever day it is.
Oh wait, hold on.
What?
He ran away.
We tried to get our other cat, but he's sort of out of here, and I think June's out of here too.
Alright, thank you guys so much.
Bye.
All right, bye.